Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is December 11th, 2024, and Barcelona just pulled an incredible win in Dortmund, 2-3, in what was an absolute nail biter. 5 goals in the second half. Very, very close match with lots of conclusions and lots of mixed emotions. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end, where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and let's begin with the match analysis because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona just pulled a very tight and close victory in Dortmund, defeating the German outfit 2-3 with a goal from Coutinho and 2 goals, a brace. Yes, you heard that right, a brace by Ferran, which we're now going to have to change his name. Rafinha is now Coutinho. Ferran is going to be for Goat. I don't know. You guys let me know. But a brace by Ferran Torres, who came to the rescue and helped Barcelona earn 3 very important points in this Champions League race. And with that, we are still in the top 8 with, of course, top 8 are the ones who qualified to the round of 16. And we also get to a pot of 54 million euros. So very important to finish in those top 8. But very, very important victory, very difficult victory against a difficult opponent. Let's not remember, Dortmund were a finalist in the Champions League last season, so a very difficult opponent in their stadium, which is an incredibly challenging stadium in Europe. So a very difficult victory that Barcelona have taken home, and 3 very important points to keep us alive in that race in the Champions League. Now, lots of mixed emotions about this match. Good things, bad things, because there were 2 completely different halves. The first half was amazing. It's what I wanted to see from Barcelona. It's what we all want to see from Barcelona. A team that was moving the ball very quickly, a team that was creating chances, a team that as soon as they would lose the ball, they would recover it very fast in Dortmund's half, and a team that were putting asphyxiating pressure on Dortmund that didn't allow Dortmund to do anything. So Barcelona were completely dominant in the first half, where Dortmund simply could not do anything. Now, ironically, even though the first half is where Barcelona played really well, even though it's the first half is where Barcelona were moving the ball fast, where they were keeping a high intensity, high pressure, recovering the ball quick, creating chances, ironically, during that half, no goals, right? And that's because Barcelona wasted several clear chances, including one where Rafinha was hand-to-hand with Dortmund's goalkeeper and completely missed it. And then came the second half. And this is where we started seeing cracks in the team. Dortmund started out much, much better than Barcelona, putting a lot more pressure on Barcelona. And meanwhile, Barcelona were just locked in their final third, defending at all costs. And we only really created 3 chances, all of them from counterattack. And all 3 of them resulted in goals. So second half completely different from the first one, where the first one Barcelona were dominant, we're doing what we want them to always do. In the second half, not so much, which kind of highlights a problem where Barcelona are still having a problem maintaining the same form and the same rhythm throughout the entire 90 minutes, right? Because the first half, impeccable. Second half, not so much. So we're still seeing a problem where the team cannot keep up its performance throughout the entire 90 minutes. But at the same time, we also have a silver lining. And that is that Barcelona, despite being against the ropes, despite getting tied twice, they were still able to continue fighting and they were still able to pull the victory. So this is what I mean where there's a mixed emotions. On one side, I'm happy because Barcelona won against a very difficult opponent in a difficult stadium. We got 3 important points. On the other hand, not too happy with the second half. But at the same time, happy that the team had a really strong mentality and were able to continue fighting, even though they were against the ropes that entire second half. On the other hand, I was not happy with the mistakes the team made because the team made some very silly mistakes. Both goals were from very silly mistakes. The first one, Pau Cubarsí, what the hell was he thinking with that push? Really, really, really dumb penalty kick, which comes on the back of the other dumb penalty kick by Frankie de Jong, right? Very silly mistake on Vitor Roque against Real Betis. And now Pau Cubarsí does the same thing, a silly mistake that results in a penalty kick. And then the second goal, very silly ball lost by Íñigo Martínez. That same thing results in another goal. So lots of mixed emotions, very silly mistakes that should not be repeated in the future, because if this was a knockout match, those mistakes could mean that you go home. That's the difference between going home or qualifying to the next round. So these are the kind of mistakes that, of course, I'd rather the team do now so the team can polish them, get them out of the way, learn from them, rather than do them later. But nonetheless, very important victory. And I say important victory because this is where it leaves us in standings of the Champions League. Barcelona climbed all the way to second place, 6 matches, 5 victories, and 1 loss for a total of 15 points. So right there in second place behind Liverpool, who remain on that perfect race. 6 out of 6 victories. Liverpool have been absolutely unstoppable. But again, we just have to finish in the top 8. And with this victory, we get that much closer to qualifying to the round of 16 and that much closer to, of course, getting those 54 million euros, which is going to be a very important objective for Barcelona, given the club's financial situation. Now, let's talk about the substitutions real quick, because as of late, we've all been complaining about the substitutions, right? We're always like, what is Flick thinking? Why is he making these substitutions? Blah, blah, blah. Same thing today, right? We see Rafinha come out. We see Lewandowski come out. And then we see Ferran Torres. We see Fermín Lopez. We see Frankie de Jong. And we're like, what is happening? What is Flick doing? And lo and behold, the substitutions that Flick does is exactly the substitutions that end up winning this match, because in the second goal, both Fermín and Ferran Torres participate in the play. Fermín with that incredible shot that gets stopped, and Ferran is there to push it in. And then the third goal by Ferran Torres again. So this time, Flick getting it right with the substitution, except for Frankie, which, again, I still think it's better to sell him. I think Frankie right now has no business playing for Barcelona. He just has no intensity. It doesn't look like he wants to be on the field. It looks like he's just there because he has to be there. Frankie de Jong has no business in being Barcelona. I've said it before. I'll say it again. But Ferran Torres, Fermín Lopez immediately come onto the match, change things up. Ferran Torres with that double, which, by the way, it's funny because we all like to troll him. Like when he came on, I jokingly said to my friends, "Oh, Ferran is coming. We're good. We're gonna win." Of course, I said it jokingly. I didn't mean it. And lo and behold, he scores 2 goals, and that's exactly what happens. Now, Ferran Torres has now scored 4 goals in 3 matches. So it's working. It looks like whatever Flick sees in Ferran, because we always wonder these things. We always say, like, what does Flick see in Ferran? Well, it looks whatever Flick sees in Ferran, it's working. 4 goals in 3 matches. Today, the victory was thanks to him. So right now, Ferran is actually in good form, and I think Flick is going to keep using him. Now, I don't think Ferran should be starting matches. I think he's a really good sub, someone coming off the bench, as he's shown in these last 3 matches. So very happy with Ferran Torres' performance with his 2 goals, because after all, the victory is all thanks to him. Now, despite Ferran's 2 goals and despite Ferran winning this match for us, I have to give the MVP of the match to Marc Casado, because once again, Marc Casado today was absolutely impeccable. There wasn't a single ball that he did not recover. There wasn't a single duel that he lost. I mean, the way he reads the field is absolutely unmatched. His football intelligence, his football IQ is on a different planet. I mean, the way he just reads the opposition's attacks, he can predict where the players are going to be. He can predict where the pass is going to be made, and he's there every time. He's there to challenge whatever Dortmund player had the ball, he was there to intercept every pass that Dortmund was making. And not just that, but as soon as he would recover the ball, he would immediately find an open player, an open Barca player, and make the pass and then start building the play from behind. Marc Casado, once again, absolutely unstoppable. To me, he was the MVP of the match. Of course, despite Ferran Torres scoring his 2 goals, which again, we're going to have to find him a new name. It's not Ferran anymore. It's Fergo. I don't know if I like Fergo, but if you guys have better suggestions, let me know in the chat section. But again, very important victory, tough victory against a tough opponent in an incredibly challenging stadium. Barcelona take home 3 very important points. We're in second place in the standings in the Champions League, still top 8, still on our way to qualify to the round of 16. Again, mixed emotions where we had a really good first half, not so much good in the second half. But despite being against the ropes, we were able to pull this victory. And we, again, still made some very silly mistakes. It looks like the team is still learning. But again, I prefer the team make the mistakes now than make them later in the knockout stages. And now let's see what you guys are saying in the chat section, because pretty much that's all I had to say about this match. All right. By the way, as a football fan, not as a Barca fan, incredible match. 5 goals in the second half. I mean, 0-1, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3. I mean, really, really good match as a football fan. A lot of, with the goals, lots of back and forth. I think the first goal, Barca was at the 50th minute. That means 5 goals in 40 minutes. As a football fan, I think this was an incredible match. As a Barcelona fan, I think this was, just a heartache because, we did the same thing as we did against Betis, Real Betis. We score a goal and then we allow them to tie us. We score another goal or we allow them to tie us. This time, fortunately, we were able to score a third one where against Real Betis we weren't, but we still have work to do. Again, very happy with the victory, very happy with the 3 points, but we still have work to do because the second half just was not good. Lots of silly mistakes. The team's form dipped from the first half, so 2 completely different halves. So the team still has work to do. But as far as the first half, big step forward from the previous matches. Second half, a lot of the same stuff that we've seen in the recent matches. But the good thing is, at least we were able to pull a victory. Because if we hadn't, I think this would have been definitely a crisis, because that would have meant that we would only have won 2 matches out of the last 6 or 7. That would have been a big, big problem. So, again, mixed emotions. But let's see what you guys are saying. Di Lobo says, guys, admit it, every time Ferran had the ball, we all said a mini prayer. Please do not miss. Please do not miss. The guy that dwells just always gives me nerves. Hey, man, Ferran, 4 goals in the last 3 matches. I'll take it. Whatever Flick season him, hey, I'm all for it. Joska says, man, I love Casado so much. He just wins that ball so much in the middle. Unreplaceable. 100% I agree. I think, again, Casado for me today was the MVP. And there were a lot, Lamine Yamal, he was also absolutely amazing with his passes once again, just being a total headache on the right flank, dribbling past all the Dortmund players. Like Lamine Yamal was also absolutely amazing, but to me, Casado was the MVP. Casado is just on another level. Reggie says, I think we were really bad in the second half. We couldn't hold possession or take control of the game for up to 10 minutes, which was really poor. I agree 100%. Again, 2 different halves. The first half, Barcelona were amazing, moving the ball quickly, creating chances, just putting asphyxiating pressure on Dortmund, and it didn't allow Dortmund to do anything, recovering the ball quickly as soon as they lost it. And then in the second half, just like Barcelona completely, all the way in their final third, barely holding on to the match, not being able to win control of the ball or control of the match. Really bad second half, but really good first half. Again, the first half, big step forward from the previous matches. Second half, a little bit of the same that we've seen in the recent matches. So if the team can work on maintaining what they did in the first half throughout the 90 minutes, I think we're good. I think we can compete for all trophies. I'm not saying we would win all trophies, but I think we could compete for all trophies. McPherson says, Ansu didn't impress Flick in training. If Ferran Goats was getting chances, this means Ansu didn't compete enough. Absolutely. I think Flick saw that Ansu had potential. Unfortunately, potential and performance are 2 different things, right? And that's something a lot of times people forget. Quality and performance, 2 different things, right? You can have all the quality in the world if you cannot translate into performance. it's pointless. Like, right, what's his name? Joao Felix, perfect example. All the quality in the world, incredibly talented, incredibly skilled, but he just cannot translate that into performance. So what's the point? So I think Flick saw that talent, saw the potential in Ansu, but unfortunately Ansu has not been able to translate that into performance since his injury, and that's why we've even seen Pablo Torre play ahead of Ansu Fati on the left wing. We've seen Fermin Lopez play on the left wing ahead of Ansu Fati, and none of the two are left wingers. Both Fermin and Pablo Torre are midfielders. So if Flick is opting for two midfielders ahead of an actual left winger, an actual specialist, that tells you that Ansu Fati's time at Barca has just simply run out. Nathan says, Mo, Ferran is the luckiest player of all time. How Victor deserves to be ahead of Ferran. I wouldn't say lucky, man. He scored 4 goals in the last 3 matches. I mean, lucky gets you maybe 1 goal, maybe 2, but 4 in the last 3, I wouldn't say lucky. Again, I'm not saying Ferran is amazing. He should start. We should renew his contract until 2040. I'm not saying that. But I wouldn't say it's luck. I mean, whatever he's doing, it's working for him. Whatever Flick sees in him, it's working for him. Hey, I'm all for it. If he can get us those wins, then fuck it. Zach says, Rafinha became a freaking assassin in front of the goal. What did Flick give the guy? I wonder the same thing. I mean, Rafinha from this season is 10 times better than the last 2 seasons combined, right? I mean, he's already scored way more goals and provided more assists than he did all of last season, and we're not even halfway. That means if Rafinha continues on this same pace, by the end of the season, he's probably going to have 20-plus goals, maybe 25 goals, and who knows, maybe 15, 20 assists, right? Double, quadruple what he's had in the last season. So, like, Rafinha now is just completely a different player. Now, that's a player that's worth 60 million euros, right? That's a player that's worth his salary. And whatever Flick did, I don't know what it is, but thank you, Hansi. Thank you. Reggie says, I think Flick needs to find a solution when we are presses. We make a lot of mistakes and when we are pressed. Okay, I see what you mean. Yes, I agree. A lot of the mistakes, well, the 2 goals from Dortmund came from mistakes when Dortmund had us against the ropes. So, yes, we do make mistakes when we are getting pressed. And I think that's because Barcelona are just not used to that, right? Barcelona are always used to having the possession. Barcelona are always used to be the team that's doing the pressing and the pressure, right? So we're not used to that. So I think that's why when we get pressed, all of a sudden we're like, whoa, wait a minute. Well, I'm the one who's supposed to be doing that. Well, what do you mean that you're pressing me now? So, yes, I agree. I think we need to work on that. And, again, I rather the team make those mistakes now, like the Pau Cubarsí mistake. That's just inexperience. Years old. That was just a dumb mistake that's born out of inexperience. So I rather the team make those mistakes now so they can learn from it, so they can polish those mistakes, rather than do them later in the knockout stages where you just don't get room to make those mistakes, right? You make those mistakes and you're out. 65 Barca Boy says Kamikaze High Line is now being exposed on a regular basis. It needs 4 more. No, I don't think so. Dortmund fell in the offside trap 6 times. They had 2 goals canceled. I wouldn't say we're getting exposed. It's still working. I mean, is it sometimes not going to work? Of course. The outside highline is never going to be perfect. If you park the bus, it's never going to be perfect. You're still going to be scored on. I wouldn't say it's being exposed. Or if anything, it's proven that's working time and time again. Again, Dortmund had 6 offsides. Mallorca had, I think, 11 offsides. Like, it's working. Does it sometimes not work? Of course. Nothing works 100% of the time. Ask Atletico Madrid. They like to park the bus because they think it's the safest thing, and they still get scored on. Does that mean parking the bus doesn't work? No. Nothing is 100% in football. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Street Fighter says, I think the first half we indecisive in the final third. That the second half we are relying on counterattacks. Flick have really changed this team. We counterattack. We just need to avoid this mistakes. Yeah, unfortunately, again, the first half were incredibly dominant, but ironically, or I don't know how we didn't score a single goal. Again, I think we wasted a lot of chances, which is funny because I was actually texting. I was talking to someone and I was like, I hope this doesn't cost us, because when you don't take advantage of your opportunities, you always get punished. And I think we did to a certain extent, right, with Dortmund scoring 2 goals. But our counterattacks were lethal, and that's something that Barcelona before did not know how to do, right? We weren't the team that knew how to counterattack. So there's improvements, right? If we can maintain the same rhythm from that what we did in the first half throughout the 90 minutes, and we could, or at least not 90 minutes, at least 70, right? But not just one half great and one half bad. But if we can maintain that for at least 70 minutes and still be able to do those counterattacks, I think we could compete for everything, right? Because if you are maintaining that same performance for 70 minutes, that means you're dominating for the 70 minutes. And in the last 20, if you can just defend and then rely on those counterattacks like today, you can still do a lot of damage, right? But we need balance. You can't just be great for one half and terrible for the second half. You can't just depend on counterattacks the entire time. I think it has to be a balance between the two. Carlos says, I'm just happy we were able to come back twice and held on to the lead at the end. Olmo played better. Cubarsi's a beast like usual, and Kunde back to a good game after some bad ones. I agree with everything you said. Glad to see Kunde again, being back. But, hey, how about Ferran Torres, guys? What the fuck? Buzuki Man says Casado might be the most important player of Barca. At this point, I think so. I mean, not to take away anything from Lamine, who's absolutely, a rock star. He's probably the best player in the world right now. Not to take anything away from Pedri, who was impeccable again, but Casado just holds the team together. Casado is the glue that holds this team together. And I think at this point, he's just irreplaceable. It's absolutely irreplaceable. Again, not to take away from other players like Rafinha, like Lamine, who are also doing great, like Pedri. But right now, for me, Casado is just, I just cannot imagine a team without him. And we have a donation. Tigran Zalian says, thank you so much for your donation. By the way, it says Ferran Gotes. I like that. I want to see more suggestions. I think with Rafinha was so much easier, Rafinha, Gotinha. But we're going to have to think more about this. Again, mine is Fergotes. Tigran says Ferran Gotes. I want to hear more. Let me see your creative sides. Raul says the reason we can't control game is because Martinez and Kunde can't play when they're pressed. Balde is always alone on the left wing. Rafinha and Lewy do nothing when they aren't scoring. I wouldn't say that Rafinha doesn't do anything when he's not scoring. He does come back and helps with the recovery, but I think he's just burnt. I think Rafinha has played so much, 90 minutes of every match, even during the international breaks, that he's just exhausted. And I think we saw it, right, when he was subbed off, like he was just on the floor. I hope he's not injured, by the way, but I think Rafinha just needs rest. I mean, that guy runs more than anyone, and he's been doing it all season, and I think he's just exhausted. As far as Balde, the reason why he's alone is because, again, we don't have a left winger. Like, even when Rafinha plays on the left, he plays more as an interior than he does as a left winger, so Balde has to cover the whole left flank by himself. That's why when a lot of people are like, oh, Balde sucks. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, the guy has to cover the entire left side of the field. He's the only player that's being asked to do that, because on the right, Kunde gets help from Lamine all the time, right? They help each other. On the left, it's just Ferran. It's just Balde. He's just there by himself. Barca says, we shouldn't care about Ferran's quality or performance until he keeps scoring as soon as he come on from bench. He is our Jean Duran Aston Villa. He's kind of being a little bit now as the other De Jong. What's his name? Luke. Remember Luke? He would come off the bench and boom, score a goal. Ferran is being our Luke De Jong right now. Which, again, hey, if he can come off the bench the last 10 minutes and score a goal, I'm all for it. I wouldn't start him. I don't think Ferran has the quality to start. But if he can come off the bench and score a goal and call it a day, some players are just good at that. Some players are just good at coming off the last 10, 15 minutes, score a goal, and go home. Nicholas says, Mo, happy for the win, but we need to go to winter market. Come in here, Biscarza. I don't think we're signing anyone in the winter market. Maybe just Antonio Cordero, only because, there's so much competition for him, and now Malaga are willing to sell him for a low price. But right now, Barcelona are not going to be looking to sign anyone in the winter. It just has to do with, the finances and plus the financial fair play, right? Right now, we have to think about whatever financial fair play we can generate from here until winter, whether through the VIP seats, the sale of the VIP seats, or whether through a new investment or new sponsor, whatever financial fair play we can generate is going to have to go to register Dani Olmo and to register Pau Victor. We don't have the margin to be signing anyone. Antonio Cordero maybe, but that's because he would be a Barca Athletic player. So it wouldn't affect the first team's financial fair play. But I don't think the team is going to, Barca is going to be signing anyone in the winter. I think we're going to have to wait all the way until the summer. And Shabna Salah, don't you think we need quality fullbacks? Because if Kunde and Balde have a bad day, which both of them are having in the past matches, we don't really have quality players. Yeah, we do have, we need quality fullbacks because, like you said, we need quality wingers, right? Because if Lamine, God forbid, gets injured, if Rafinha, God forbid, gets injured, who replaces them? Ferran? I mean, yeah, sure, Ferran scored 2 goals today, but he's not in a position to replace Lamine for the entire 90 minutes or to replace Rafinha for the entire 90 minutes, right? Ansu, again, Fermin, not a midfielder. Pablo Torre, sorry, not a winger. Pablo Torre, not a winger either. So I think we need quality wingers to replace our attack. We need quality fullbacks. But unfortunately, no money, no financial fair play. We're kind of limited there. So we're just going to have to work with what we have, which is part of the huge credit that Hansi Flick gets. Not only has he been able to transform this team, not only has he been able to get us some incredible wins that we haven't seen in years, you know, thrashings 5-0, 4-0, 7-1, you know, things that Barca hasn't done in years, but he's been able to do that with very limited resources, if you think about it. I mean, obviously he still has great players, but, you know, with a bench that's not deep enough, with, you know, with almost a non-existent budget, right? Because anybody could just come to a healthy club and be like, I want the best goalkeeper, the best center backs, just go out and sign them for me. But takes a special person and come to a team and be like, all right, this is what I have. We can't sign anyone else. Let me figure out what I could do. Not to say that what Flick has is trash, because it's not. Obviously, he has still a great first team, but as far as subs, it's a huge difference between the starters and the sub as far as quality. Anyways, let's do one more comment and then we will end this because I do have to do a news video still. But Essay says, Mo, can I be both Madridista and Culé? No, you cannot. H. Andrew says, Ferran, now know the goal mouth. I'm very happy for his performance in today's match. Amen, my friend. And it just says, I'm losing hope on Balde. No, not at all. Actually, Balde had a good match today. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Great victory against a very tough opponent in a tough stadium. 3 very important points. Great first half, terrible second half, which is ironic because that's when the goals came. But nonetheless, we take this victory home. We take these 3 points home. And we also take these mistakes to learn from because the team, of course, is still improving, is still growing. So let's learn from these mistakes. Let's keep improving and let's maintain what we did during the first half. That's going to be very important. I will see you in the news video later tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always,